I'm Dan Nelson, Brookings County State's Attorney. I'm joined alongside Chief of Brookings Police Department, Dave Erickson, Chief Investigator, Marcy Giebers. I'm also joined alongside Special Agent with the Division of Criminal Investigation, Jeff Collars, as well as the lead detective in this matter with the Brookings Police Department, Detective Joel Perry. Today, a Brookings County grand jury indicted Renee Fayant and Robert Price for second-degree murder, in the alternative first-degree manslaughter, as well as felony child abuse. On Wednesday afternoon, July 31st, the Brookings Police Department received a 911 call from Miss Fayant, who indicated that her niece, a 3-year-old female, was unresponsive and not breathing. Law enforcement and paramedics responded and found the child unconscious at a residence located on 7th Street in the city of Brookings. Shortly after arriving on the scene, the child was later pronounced dead on the scene, and that took place Wednesday afternoon. Ms. Fayant and Mr. Price had been the caretakers of that child for the last 2 years. Due to the physical signs of malnourishment and neglect observed on the child by law enforcement at the scene, a search warrant was requested, granted, and executed later that afternoon and into the evening. What law enforcement subsequently found inside the residence was disturbing. The two defendants, Ms. Fayant and her husband, Mr. Price, had confined the child to a small area of the home and deprived her of food and water for an extended period of time. Human and animal feces were found throughout the home and within the immediate area of where the child was found. Yesterday, an autopsy was completed on the victim, and the findings confirmed that the child died as a result of malnourishment and dehydration. Today, the state of South Dakota is alleging that the two named defendants and their actions knowingly caused the child to become malnourished, and that this lack of care directly caused the death of the child. Now, the defendants are presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. This indictment that was handed down by the Brookings County grand jury today is just an allegation. Mr. Price and Ms. Fayant were arrested yesterday afternoon. They remain in the Brookings County Jail on a $100,000 cash-only bond. They will appear in front of a judge on Monday at 9 a.m. here in Brookings County. And as far as the state's attorney's office and the local law enforcement agencies involved in this case, we will continue to work extremely hard to ensure we find justice for this little girl. The actions that led to her death will be answered for. The investigation was led by the Brookings Police Department and the Division of Criminal Investigation. The timely response and apprehension of the two suspects in less than 24 hours of the initial report speaks to the swift and competent investigation led by law enforcement agencies here in Brookings County. The last 48 hours was a true team effort. And with that, I will turn it over to Chief Dave Erickson for his remarks.
Thank you, Dan, and good morning, everyone. I want to start by thanking the men and women of the Brookings Police Department that responded to and investigated this incident. I couldn't be more proud of their professionalism and dedication to finding justice for the child victim in this case. I also would like to thank the South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigations for their assistance and expertise in investigating this case. This is such a heart-wrenching case because it involves such an innocent, helpless victim. Throughout this investigation, I wondered how this could happen and how could this go on for so long. I want to encourage everyone to say something if you see something. Some may feel that it's not their place or they don't want to get involved. But there are anonymous avenues for abuse and neglect like this to be reported. A couple examples are the Brookings Crime Stoppers and the Child Protective Services. You can reach the Brookings Crime Stoppers at 692-STOP or 692-7867, or Child Protective Services at 688-4334. I just can't help but wonder if there was a time that someone saw what was going on inside this home and said nothing. I hope that that is not the case. Children are so precious, and when the adults charged with their care fail to do what is right, we as a community need to step up and do what is right. In this case, Ms. Fayant and Mr. Price failed to properly care for this little girl. And today, because of the hard work of our officers and detectives and the members of the state's attorney's office, a grand jury has indicted them, thus starting the process to bring justice in this case. I want to close by saying, if you are a parent or a guardian and need help or have questions about raising a child, please reach out for that help. The Department of Social Services has many ways that they can help with economic assistance, food, and medical assistance programs. And you can contact them at 688-4332. And with that, I'll turn it over to Agent Collars from the DCI.
My name is Jeff Collars. I'm a special agent with the South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation. I am a co-lead detective or investigator for this case, along with Detective Perry. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family and the deceased. I also wanted to thank the Brookings County State's Attorney's Office and the Brookings Police Department for the seamless efforts and large amount of detail and work that has gone on. Myself, our department, the other departments involved will continue to work for this victim. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to Dan.
We'll take any questions at this time.
Dan, were there any other children in the home?
There were 2 children also in the home. The initial investigation does not involve them at this time, but one of the co-defendants, Ms. Fayant, did have in her custody one other child, and then there was a shared custody agreement with the other child.
No indications of abuse of those children?
Not at this time.
Are those children in Child Protective Services? Or?
DSS is working with Ms. Fayant at this time, working with the court system to make sure that those kids are safe and secure. At this time, they are safe and secure. They have been removed from the home since Wednesday afternoon and are safe at an alternative placement at this time.
The victim was the niece of this woman, of the suspect? Female suspect?
Yes, she was the niece of the defendant, Ms. Fayant.
3-year-old girl?
Yes.
And how is she under the, how is this victim under their care?
From our understanding, there was an agreement between the biological mother and her sister, the defendant, and the child, the 3-year-old, had come in under her care in the last 2 years, is what the initial investigation shows.
When were the parents arrested, or when were the 2 suspects arrested?
The 2 suspects, Ms. Fayant and Mr. Price, were arrested yesterday afternoon, approximately 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m., and a bond was set last night by the judge here in Brookings County.
Were they home when they made the call, when police arrived on scene then?
Well, throughout the investigation, we had contact with the defendants. We knew where they were at. The decision then was made to go ahead and arrest them, and they were not apprehended at their home, but they were apprehended at the police department.
Dan, has a court date been set?
So their initial appearance will be on the indictment that will be filed today. That initial appearance will be Monday at 9 a.m. In Magistrate Court here in Brookings.
These 2 defendants know the law enforcement prior to this?
Law enforcement has had contacts with Mr. Price. Ms. Fayant is not originally from Brookings, but we won't comment any further as to what their prior involvement was with law enforcement.
How long have they been members of this community, do you know?
Well, our initial investigation, like I said, shows that Mr. Price has had contacts with law enforcement previous within the city of Brookings. Ms. Fayant, like I said, is not from this area originally, but at this time we don't have much more information as to when they relocated to Brookings, just that they have been living at the residence that the child was found at for some time.
Do you have any idea at this point how long she'd been living under these kind of conditions?
Well, again, the investigation is still pending. The facts are what they are in terms of what I had said previously. Law enforcement at this time felt that those conditions had been in place for some time. That ultimately led to what the allegation is that there was abuse and neglect present in the home.
How long had she been under the care of this woman?
Approximately 2 years.
And this, yeah, she called 911, or she called 911?
Yes, she was the reporting party.
To report the child was unresponsive.
Correct.
And again, they're facing second-degree murder, and what else?
So the indictment reads second-degree murder, and then in the alternative, first-degree manslaughter, felony murder, the felony being child abuse, and then count 3 is felony child abuse under the age of 7.
Do you have the ages of Mr. Price and Ms. Fayant?
Yes, Mr. Price is 27 years old, and Ms. Fayant is 25 years old. The spelling on Renee Fayant is R-E-N-A-E, last name Fayant, F-A-Y-A-N-T, date of birth of 12/14/1993, and Robert Price, common spelling, 11/19 of 1991. Any further questions? All right, thank you.